Well, my fellow Americans, this is our time. Let us embrace it.
It is a strange sight, I'll grant you that. A man in a pink flamingo suit walking on a Parma street. But this pink flamingo is the official emblem of Parma Pierogies, a restaurant specializing in pierogies, a food originated in Eastern Europe but brought to this country by immigrants. So you wonder who could make a good living wrapping little pastas around a variety of fillings and either boiling or frying them? Mary Poldrui is making a living at this.
For here, $24.19.
The brains behind all of this is Mary Poldrui, who for years worked in the corporate community of Cleveland. Feeling she could do more, she decided to go into the little ventured land of pierogi restaurants, taking what millions of people know from their home kitchens to the restaurant scene.
I thought, wow, wouldn't this be great, 7 days a week, homemade pierogies, and just kind of started researching it, and the more I did, the more things fell into place.
When you talk about falling into place, there is the way she got, at $3,000 apiece, $240,000 startup money from specially selected area professionals.
Out of the Parma Yellow Pages, believe it or not, and picked all the ethnic-sounding last names with ski and the CZs at the end, and believe it or not, that worked.
Something else which worked was the attention of Time magazine. Its January 6th issue features a story on Mary Poldrui and the restaurant startup approach. That's real heady stuff, especially for a restaurant not yet a year old, but word travels quickly about good pierogies.
Pierogi. Say it in Polish, pierogi.
Oh, the Parma Pierogies are pretty good.
But this story is more than just about pierogies. It is also about the American business spirit, getting the attention of the world, and of making money, too.
Something was clicking in there. I had to do it. I knew that this would be a success.
And so it is, based in Parma, where often the pink flamingo is part of the residential landscape. But this pink flamingo, a symbol of a business begun by a 32-year-old woman with no college, no business experience, but with a lot of dreams and a taste for pierogies.
Like most fairy tales, this one begins in Europe, where once upon a time, a little stuffed pasta called a pierogi was invented.
There you go. Enjoy your meal. Take it easy.
And centuries later, in America, Mary Poldrui had a dream. And with the pierogi recipe, she did open a restaurant and became the master of her own affairs.
Plain potato, that's fine.
Then one day, a prince, well, a governor, who would be king, actually president, came to her place in Parma, Ohio, and tasted the pierogi. And he liked it.
Didn't let this Parma crowd down. He lunched on a plate full of pierogies, a delicacy you don't find in Arkansas. How'd you like the pierogies?
I loved them. They were wonderful. I had the potato pierogies, then I had a blueberry one for dessert, and they were really terrific.
Now, our next guest took an unusual route to open up a pierogi restaurant in Parma, Ohio. That's outside Cleveland. Mary Poldrui started Parma Pierogies back in February of '91. She serves 12 different kinds of pierogies. For those of you who don't know, it's a kind of Polish ravioli. Actually, it's common to a lot of Eastern European countries, and it was lucky enough to be visited by President Clinton twice, who obviously enjoyed himself. He named her one of his faces of hope. Mary joins us now to share her story from Cleveland, Ohio. Mary, welcome.
Hello, Mark. Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. Let's talk about your method of financing the business, since that strikes me as the most unusual part of your story. You had an idea. You didn't have the money to finance it. What did you do?
Well, I didn't have a rich uncle either. I went to the banks, and naturally banks don't loan money to startups. So they referred me on to some venture capital companies and some very wealthy people in Cleveland, and I was flattered on 3 occasions to get an offer for the $200,000 I needed, which I only had $2,000 of, so I was a little ways off. But they wanted me to sign a contract to give them 80% ownership plus my firstborn child, so I just couldn't do that.
All right, you didn't buy those terms, but you still needed the money. What did you do?
Well, I took ads in the local newspapers and business papers under business opportunities, unique restaurant concept looking for investors. I also started to think, well, maybe professionals like doctors, lawyers, accountants would be the type that have a little extra income. And I started looking in the Parma Yellow Pages. Parma is a very ethnic community. There was thousands of listings. I couldn't afford postage on everybody, so I started thinking, well, pierogies, Eastern European. I started circling all the ethnic-sounding last names with the SKIs at the end and the CZs, and it worked.
All right.
started attracting investors.
What kind of terms did you get from these investors, since, of course, you turned down the money from people who wanted too big a piece of your business?
Well, I was able to set up a corporation and sell stock. And this way I was able to secure 51%, so I had controlling interest. And it was easier for people to get involved because they could, actually the way it turned out, it took almost a year. I talked to over 600 people to find 80 investors who put up approximately $3,000 each.
All right, now, the business obviously doing well. I believe you just opened a second one?
Yes, sir. About a year ago, we're hoping to franchise this summer.
Are the investors satisfied with growth and not taking any dividends or anything like that out?
Yeah, not yet. For restaurants, it usually takes about 5 to 7 years before you start to see any significant return, but we're on the way with 2 locations and the franchise in line. We've been fortunate with our good guardian angel to get a lot of national publicity as we are now, and we have a lot of interested potential investors across the country already.
Well, actually, two of the things that struck me was, number one, of course, you did luck out with the president. I believe you have to put that in the luck column, don't you?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. But luck is not the only thing that plays a part. I'm going to hold some things up here to the camera. At my end, a bumper sticker. I ate at Parma Pierogies. A postcard. This is the kind of thing, you buy it, a tourist will buy this. I ate at Parma Pierogies. This is pretty creative stuff. Where'd you come up with this?
Oh, we have just a tremendous staff. I'm very lucky having a large family and group of friends. Everybody has a lot of talents and have all contributed significantly to the success.
Yeah. By the way, I don't usually associate pierogies with flamingos. What's the story on the flamingo, which I believe is sitting right next to you, isn't he?
Yeah,
or
Pingo
she?
the flamingo is right here with us today. And he's sort of our version of Ronald McDonald. And the way that came up...
Yeah, go ahead, tell me.
Well, local celebrities started poking fun of the ethnic community. I guess a lot of people in Parma used to have those little tacky plastic pink flamingos on their front lawn. And it got so popular that even Johnny Carson used to refer to Cleveland and Parma, home of the flamingos. So we started to capitalize on that.
Well, it's a great idea, and of course, I went to school out in Ohio, so it never struck me as odd, but I guess, yeah, around the country. Well, listen, you've done a great job, and the best of luck to you. We're really impressed with your story. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Mary Poldrui, Parma Pierogies out in Ohio.
The initial location opened in Parma, Ohio in February 1991, the first fast food pierogi restaurant in the country. A classic American dream story, the result of creative energy and hard work, which led to an article in Time magazine in January 1992. Since banks wouldn't loan to startups and venture capitalists wanted 80% ownership, founder Mary Poldrui cold-called doctors and lawyers with ethnic surnames listed in the telephone book. This national notoriety attracted the Clintons and Gores, which resulted in their stop at Parma Pierogies while on their famous campaign bus tour. Impressed with the determination and commitment, they extended an invitation to the White House for 5 days of inaugural festivities. 4 months later, President Clinton made an unplanned second stop at what's become one of his favorite places for great food and good people. The story has attracted national attention with NBC Nightly News, CNBC, an Entrepreneur magazine cover story, and the cover of Restaurant Hospitality. where industry experts hand-pick Parma Pierogies to be the next McDonald's or Olive Garden. Parma Pierogies is the next big fast food sensation in the nation.
Gee, Mom, sure would be great to have some of your old-style cooking.
I'm too tired to cook, but I sure miss those old-style recipes, too.
I want, like, healthy choices.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get pierogies, stuffed cabbage, or kielbasa and kraut at a fast food restaurant with a friendly atmosphere?
I'm sick of burgers, tacos, and chicken.
You can get all this in a fast food restaurant, only at Parma Pierogies, where you get old-fashioned taste in new fast food. Parma Pierogies, east at 5445 Mayfield, west in the Parma Town Strip.